Welcome to the character screen print projects. This is our final project in graphic design. Typically what I do is we actually do an actual screen print at the end of the year. Unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, the campus is closed, we're not going to be able to do this, but I do want to kind of refresh your or demonstrate through at least an illustration of what the whole printing process is. And then if you like, actually doing this hopefully next fall when we open up again in campus, you could sign up for the printmaking class. We do a lot of screen printing in that class. But essentially, a screen is just a mesh screen. Here you can see with the blue ink on here, or blue outline, I should say. This is where the transparency is burned on the screen. The ink is this sort of pink color here. And the squeegee is being pushed across onto paper underneath. It's like a stamp, basically. You have an open mesh and you pull the ink across and you get an impression. And there's some consistency and some practice that has to be done, but basically that's the whole process. Very straightforward kind of printing, and it's really fun and engaging. And you can print on shirts, you can print on pretty much any surface you can put the screen on. I mean, I print on walls and canvas and different things, so it's lots of fun. I just feel bad that we can't do this semester, but it is understandable because the coronavirus. We had to keep the campus closed, but for everyone's safety. But here is on the left some screen equipment. You can see got the screen squeegee and some clamps, and then on the right you have a series of screens from probably the most famous screen printing artist, Andy Warhol, who did lots of mixed media screen prints where he painted into them and so forth. Here's an example of a color screen print. This is a friend of mine, Matt Hobson Walker, who teaches in Southern California at CSU Fullerton. He does these amazing layered colored screen prints. So this might have like 20 layers from 20 different screens or something like that. Pretty amazing stuff. Here's another image from a different artist, color screen print. It's really interesting. And here's another one. You can actually see the paper, the person holding the paper there. Here you can see Photoshop is basically used to create your transparency. So imagine each color is each layer in Photoshop, and each layer could be whatever color you want. Eventually, you print them out in black in a transparency, and then burn it to the screen through exposure through light. Black basically blocks the light, and wherever light is blocked on a photo light sensitive emulsion, it washes away. So you kind of design your image based on the color, and then you convert that image to black and white. Here's one of my examples of a zombie series of screen prints I did. And so it's just a straight black and white. And essentially what we're doing here is a character screen print. So these are past student work. So you basically just have a single image that you draw out. You can see it's just basically just straight up black and white. There's no real grays except through cross hatching or scribbles. And so these are all student work. This one has a sense of gray, unusual kind of character. The lines in the backgrounds created patterns and created a sense of gray. Here's another one, but you get the idea that this is what we're going to do is just a single color. Again, unfortunately, we can't do that, but we are going to actually design the character. You're going to design your own character. You just won't be able to print it. Again, here's another one, really cool. So here's the project, the criteria. Basically, create a unique character in Photoshop. The size will be 13 inches by 19 inches at 300 resolution. So that's usually the transparency size that we print out. So you can draw with only black ink, basically 100% black, using line work, cross-hatching, stippling, or any other marks. After that, you can add another layer and add shading with value ranges. And again, this is just because we wouldn't be doing this normally, but because we aren't going to be able to print these, I understand the need to actually make a cool character, and we can do that, at least through Photoshop. Keep your line work on a separate layer though, and then since we won't be able to create an actual screen print, make a black and white version of your character, and then a color version of your character. And you can add your colors on different layer or layers, plural. So here's an example of a student who did a multicolored print on the right, and then a single black and white image on the left. So that's basically the project. I'm going to show you with Photoshop here a couple examples here of mine. So here's the black and white example of the zombie, one of my zombies I've printed out. And if I turn off the white, basically you can see color underneath. These are color layers. And this is kind of the way I constructed the image, but each of these layers has to be converted eventually to a black and white transparency. So if I hold the Alt key on this layer, you can kind of see what that group would be like, or that group. So each of these would end up being a color of black, and then those would be printed out and become a transparent layer. The colors did change quite a bit. Here's the actual scan of the screen print. So I think the screen print actually looks better than the color version I had, but you can see the printed detail, and I added, especially for the background, I like a different kind of texture. It was kind of interesting on here, but multi-layered color printing like this. Again, if you're interested in this, doing multi-layered color printing, again, not necessarily zombies. You can print whatever you like, pretty much in terms of subject matter. Take the printmaking class in the fall. Again, but for this project, you're going to design your own character. It could be a zombie, it could be something else, whatever you want. It's pretty open. I don't want you to copy anything directly, though. So, don't do like a Bugs Bunny illustration, but you could have a cartoon character that feels like Bugs Bunny. Just don't draw, Bugs Bunny by himself. So that's it for this project. Again, this will be our final project, and I apologize. Well, not really. It's not really my fault, but the coronavirus has blocked us from doing these screen prints again. It would have been a blast to do it. Hopefully in the fall, though, right? Sign up for printmaking. Until then, see you soon. Cheers.